John Flores is filling in for EFO Peely for West Valley.
Okay.
We have Mayor Bott, Kim Sorensen, Robin Meekum, Lacey Smith, and Bob Barnhill.
Okay, very good.
And then first, do you need, is that just board members you need?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the staff. Good. I was trying to check them off as they came on, and I want to make sure I had everybody. So.
Did I miss anyone?
No, not that I had, and it looks like the Orem City and Tremont not represented. Is that correct at this point?
Tremont and Orem are not on, or Cedar Hills.
We're expecting Orem. They said they were going
to. Tremont just joined. Lindsay Nesson.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your schedules. We know all of you are busy with what you do on a regular basis without these meetings, but we are grateful for your time. I'll try to move through these expeditiously and as necessary. So we have a set of minutes. The first item after the welcome, a set of minutes from the April 13th, 2026 meeting. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes that anybody would propose? And if not, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved. This is DJ Bott.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
I'll second that. This is Adam.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Motion to a second to approve the minutes from the April 13th, 2026 Utopia meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Aye.
It appears to be unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing which will involve a presentation from Jason regarding the proposed annual budget for fiscal year 2027. And then after that presentation, we'll provide time to see if there's any public comment on that presentation or on the proposed adoption of the budget in general. So Jason, you want to go ahead and make your, well, let's go into the public hearing first. I know people do this different ways, but I'll entertain a motion to go into a public hearing to talk about the approval of the annual budget for fiscal year 2027.
DJ will move to open a public hearing on the fiscal budget of 2027.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second, Matt Dahl.
Okay, Matt, thank you. Let's do a roll call vote on that. Leighton will be an aye. Adam?
Aye.
Matt?
Yes.
John Flores?
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Bott?
Aye.
Kim Sorensen? Kim, are you there?
I do not see him. Oh, yes, he's on.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Kim. Lindsay from Tremont?
Yes.
Councilmember Meekum from Centerville?
Yes.
And Councilmember Smith from Payson? Are you there, Lacey? Okay, and then Bob Barnhill from Perry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Sorry, I was having difficulties. Lacey is here, and yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're just fine. I have the same problem on a regular basis. Welcome to the club. Very good. So it appears to be unanimous. Thank you. So
I'm Jen Gale here from Orem as well, and I'm a yes.
Oh, thank you, Councilmember. I apologize, I missed you. So it appears to be unanimous. So now we're in a public hearing. Jason, do you want to go ahead and make the presentation regarding the proposed annual budget for fiscal year 2027? And then after that, we'll see if there's any board comments or public comments that are to be given.
Hey, Jason, we don't hear you. It's your presentation.
Okay, now you can hear me probably.
There we go.
Thank you.
If the board has any questions as I'm going through this presentation, feel free to jump in at any time and ask the questions. I'm happy to answer anything I can. Wanted to start off showing the Utopia budget for this year, and here's the presentation I have. I wanted to start off talking about any changes between the executive budget that was shown in April and what we're showing here on the board budget in June. And there's one thing here. The main thing, if you look at construction management services revenue increase, this is revenue related to a construction project in California. We hadn't included this in the original budget because we were waiting for some bids to come back that would show the feasibility of the project and that it was more likely to move forward. Those bids have come in. We believe this projects will be moving forward, and so now we've increased revenue from construction management services by $600,000 in the budget. With that, and I'll talk about this next one more later in this presentation, the UIA related payments, that's the amount that Utopia charges UIA for the services they perform for UIA. This amount I have decreased by $500,000 and increased payments to member cities. This is the amount to offset the amount that you're paying for the yearly pledge amounts. We've increased that by $100,000 in this budget. Other than that, most of these slides were included in the original presentation that I did back in April, but you can see our Utopia's overall revenue is continuing to increase. And especially if you look at the UIA related payments, you'll see a big increase there. That's because we're proposing that the rates that are being charged from Utopia to UIA be increased to cover the maintenance, primarily to cover the maintenance and relocation costs that we're starting to see inside of your cities. We're seeing a big increase in relocation and maintenance related expenses in your cities. And a lot of that is driven by projects that you guys have going on that we end up needing to pay for when they happen. Here's a pie chart just showing kind of expenses and debt service and kind of what eats up the most of the money that comes through Utopia. The biggest things you'll see here are salaries and benefits and then debt service. Those are the majority of the costs that we have. And this has stayed pretty consistent over the last few years. Operating expenses, if you look at, we're projecting them to increase, and that's primarily due to, as I discussed before, is primarily due to the maintenance and relocation costs that we're seeing for operating expenses. Down below, that would be the gray line that you're seeing there. Also, though we are seeing a significant increase this year in headcount that we discussed in our previous meeting, and that's driving some of the growth in the blue line that you're seeing here. We're showing a net new positions of 9 positions, but that's 10 new positions and 1 position that's not going to be filled in engineering. So that's how these break out, and we looked at these before. Here's a list of the new positions that are being proposed in this year's budget. And definitely a lot of these, if you look at them, they're related to maintenance and construction and what we have going on in the maintenance. We're hoping this we can help our maintenance costs with some of these things, some of these positions that we're putting in the budget here.
But I mean, we also want to make the point there, like some of them are related to the projects. You know, we have project manager and senior construction manager, and some of the burden on the rest of the organization to support the new revenue that we're accounting for. You know, with the partnerships that we have out of state, and specifically with California, not with the state of California, but with counties in California. Some of the asks for positions are related to supporting that project, but the revenue that we're now budgeting for is set to cover the increased cost. So this isn't just, hey, we're growing just for the sake of growing or growing out of beyond the rate that you would expect for just more customers and more network out there. Some of the above and beyond that for staff growth is tied to projects that pay for themselves and then some. So it's a mix of those two things.
Thank you, Roger. If you look for salaries and benefits, our proposed COLA and merit that we have in the budget right now, we do a survey. We ask cities what they're planning on in their preliminary budgets, and these are all preliminary numbers. But as you can see, we show what the cities responded to here. At the bottom, I've been instructed to keep our COLA consistent with the CPI change in the Western States CPI, and that was 2.9% for calendar year 2025. And then the proposed merit increase is 1.1% for those two items there. I talked a little bit, and this is going to show up later in more of the items that are on the board agenda. One of the things we're talking about is increasing fees from Utopia to be paid by UIA. There are 4 types of fees that we pay, that UIA pays to Utopia. They pay a network operations fee that's based off each active connection, a provisioning fee for each new connection, it's a one-time fee, a field maintenance fee for each address passed, and an electronic shelter maintenance fee for each Hutter cabinet that's in the system. The proposed increase is primarily, if you look at the dollars, primarily for network operations and field maintenance. That's by far the biggest amount of the dollars we're looking at here. Probably 98, 99+% of the increase. That's what we're looking at. If you're looking at the total dollar amount of the increase between the fiscal year 26 and 27 budget, it's about $2.1 million. About 700,000 or 800,000 of this is just due to growth that's projected to happen in UIA in the next year. And the remaining 1.4-ish million, 1.3, 1.4 million would be due to the rate increase. And that's to help cover those maintenance and relocation costs that we're seeing. This does show up later, and this does have to be approved by a separate resolution. So we'll be seeing this, and I'll probably go over it very, very quickly then.
And just for some clarification, as we talked about increases of fees, this is just what is charged between the two organizations, Utopia and UIA. This is not a rate or fee increase to any end users, no residential or business or to cities or anything like that. This is just funds between the two organizations to make sure we're appropriately allocating expenses and revenues where the costs are.
True. The last thing that I have on here is the fiscal year 26 versus 27 loan repayment. If you look in this last column, you'll see that the total amount here is $427,000. Previously, the amount that was shown in here was $327,000. So we've increased that by $100,000. The $327,000 was the amount needed to cover the 2% increase in bond payments that the cities are making each year. So we are going above and beyond that this year with an additional $100,000. And so instead of 327, we're at 427. Any questions on the budget from the board?
Not a question necessarily, but I do just want to say that I appreciate you listening in the last meeting with regards to some of our concerns and requests, including increasing the amount of distribution to the cities that are provided loans or covering the loans for Utopia, and that is something that has been important and we'll continue to look at. But I appreciate that you listened and the changes that you made.
I just have one comment. This is Kim Sorensen with Murray City. I would like to see us make sure that our COLA raise is accurate for all the cities. Murray has historically voted no several times with the budget because the COLA is higher than Murray is currently giving. It's higher again, so that will reflect my vote, but I just wanted to put that out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. I think that the challenge in that regard is that we're all independent cities and but we've come together under a common cause through this association, and it's hard to reconcile those two things, what we do in our own house as opposed to what we do collectively together. So, but I appreciate your comments and your perspective, and it's been one that's been addressed through the years, or a sticking point a bit. So thank you.
Thank you. And I understand what you're saying, so thank you.
This is Robin from Centerville. I do appreciate you upping the money for our pledges. So, you have listened. I do have a concern, and I'm just wondering, because I'm definitely not the most educated on this, how everybody else feels about the 9 employees. That just seems like a real lot to me in 1 year.
This is DJ. I can tell you Brigham City's feeling, or at least my feeling as the mayor of Brigham City, as we have expanded in those markets. It's a need. Otherwise, I feel like we're going to be paying either a lot of overtime to individuals, or the job. I feel that the job could end up lacking. I'm in support of it for the growth of the network and what it brings to the member cities. But I do appreciate what you're saying. I think it come about in 1 year, but that's the nature of the beast. Sometimes things just expand in a year as projects come up, in my opinion.
Thank you.
And just to provide the context there again, we had a net growth of over 10,000 subscribers this last year, and which puts us at about 80. Right now we're at about 83,000, and then some through internal and partnership subscribers. So to have 10,000 growth from 72,000 or so the year before, it was a dramatic increase, right? 13, 14% or whatever that is. I don't have the math in front of me, but a dramatic increase in the work that we do, the size of the network, the number of customers we're supporting, and a 9% increase, or sorry, not even a 9%, it's less than that, in increase in employees, because we have 118 employees. So it's still an improving economy of scale if we were hiring 9 employees to support the growth of the network. But at the same time, a few of these positions are specifically to support new partnership, which comes with new revenues to cover those positions. So really, we're only hiring a subset of these 9 positions to support the growth of UTOPIA, and some of these are to support kind of that new market opportunity. So from our perspective, we feel like we are actually proposing a very conservative employee growth plan, even though I know the number 9 looks like a lot. But again, we are growing revenues and the size of the network, the number of customers, far more than the number of employees relative to that growth. Or sorry, growing the revenues much more than we are the expenses that support those revenues.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's if I could just maybe chime in just a little bit more as an independent business owner in the private sector as well. Obviously, government typically runs behind in the true muni fashion, right? We have the demand and then we staff for it. We're in the business, and we kind of see this here. But and I apologize, I might sound lectury or that you guys don't already know this, but I figured I'd state that a lot of times in the private section, there's you make that initial investment based on what you know is coming, so that you can stay ahead instead of behind on that investment.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question, and thank you for the responses. I think it's good to have the dialogue, and it is important to remember this is a business. It's a money-making business that provides tremendous services as well, but we have to make sure that we're making good decisions, forward thinking, because we're in a very competitive environment, and we want to stay in that position. So thank you for the discussion. Are there additional questions or comments regarding the budget? Okay, if not, from the board, are there any citizens or other interested parties that are online that would like to make any comments regarding the proposed budget for fiscal year 2027?
I did not receive any public comments.
And this is the location of the meeting. We don't have any public that has shown up. The door's open, so no public.
Okay, very good. Well, we have a resolution UT 2602, which would approve the annual budget. So I'll be happy to, which is the next item, I'll be happy to entertain a motion to close the public hearing and to adopt resolution UT 2602, which would approve the budget for fiscal year 2027.
Do you believe that'd be best in two separate motions, Alex? Close it and then adopt it?
Yes, we do it here late, and we close the hearing and do that in combined, but if you have a preference, Mayor, just go ahead and we'll accommodate. Either way it works.
No, I didn't want to do anything that seemed abnormal, so I will, this DJ bot, I will move to close public hearing and approve/adopt the 2027 budget, fiscal budget.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Is there a second on that?
Second, Matt Dahl.
Matt, thank you. Let's do a roll call vote on that. Layton would be an aye. Adam?
Aye.
Matt?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Was that a yes, John?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. Mayor Bott?
DJ's an aye.
Kim?
Murray's a no.
Person, okay. Thank you, Kim. Councilmember Gale?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Councilmember Meekum?
Yes.
Am I saying that correctly, Councilmember?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then Councilmember Smith from Patient?
Yes. Yes.
And then Bob Barnhill from Perry?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Appears to be unanimous with the exception of Kim. So thank you for that vote. It'll move forward. Next, again, thank you for the discussion and the suggestions and comments. That's helps us make good decisions when we have that dialogue. Next item is a resolution 2603, that proposes or considers the approval of a Sixth Amendment to the Interlocal Cooperative Agreement for Services between UIA and Utopia. Jason had touched on that as part of the budget presentation, but Jason, can you give us a little more detail on that?
I don't know if I'll give more detail, but I will put back up what the proposed increase is for each of the fees that we're talking about. And I did show the total amount in the budget presentation of what it's going to be. So I believe it's about $1.4 million is the increase amount. This is paid from UIA to Utopia. If you look at, and this will be backdated to January 1st, not backdated, but will become effective January 1st, 2026. And that will help us cover some of those increased maintenance costs that we've seen in this year's budget. UIA has enough projected revenue above budget to cover this payment for the fiscal year 26. And that's, by the way, you'll see that when we do the budget amendment for the current year. Also, this will be related to the budget amendment for fiscal year 2026, but it's a separate issue too that's coming up.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Are there any questions of Jason or just comments in general about this proposed Sixth Amendment to the relationship between UIA and Utopia from the board? Okay, hearing none, I will be happy to entertain a motion to approve that resolution 2603.
I'll make the motion that we approve resolution 2603. Kim from Murray.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Is there a second?
I'll second that. This is Adam.
Adam, thank you. Let's do a roll call vote on that as well. So, Bob Barnhill from Perry,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Meekum,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilmember Gale,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Mayor Bott,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
and Leighton is an aye as well. So that's unanimous. Thank you very much. So the next item is another public hearing, which would allow for public comment regarding amendments to the fiscal year, the current year budget, fiscal year 2026 budget. So again, we'll do the same thing as before, if that's okay. We'll entertain a motion to go into a public hearing to allow that comment, and then Jason would ask you to make your presentation, and then under one motion, we'll close the public hearing and adopt the resolution. So be happy to entertain a motion to go into a public hearing to consider allow comment and a presentation regarding the current year, fiscal year 26 proposed amendments.
So moved. This is Adam.
Okay, Adam, thank you. Is there a second?
This is DJ. I'll second.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's do a roll call. We have motion and a second. Let's do a roll call again. Leighton's and I. Adam,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Mayor Bott,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Councilmember Gale,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilmember Meekum,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
and Bob.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Jason, you want to go ahead with any your presentation, please?
Not a lot to show here, but making the resolution for the fee change back to January 1st of 2026, I project it'll be about 750,000 of additional revenue to Utopia from UIA. And that would be, I would also increase the network op expenses for maintenance and relocate by 750,000. And that's the budget amendment for fiscal year 2026.
Okay. Are there any questions from any members of the board regarding these proposed changes? Hearing none, I will ask, are there any members of the public that have joined us that would like to make comment on the proposed changes?
None on the live stream.
And again, I never received any regarding this.
And none in the room.
Mr. Chair, I move that we close public hearing and approve the amended budget, year-end budget of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bott. Is there a second?
Second. This is Adam.
Adam, thank you. Let's do a roll call again. Bob,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Meekum,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Councilmember Gale,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Mayor Bott,
Aye.
John,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
and Leighton's and I as well. Thank you. So next item on the agenda, item 8, is a financial update from Jason.
Okay. Make this a little bigger. Here's financial update for Utopia's financial results. This is based off data through April 30th, 2026. As you'll see here, if you look at our revenue numbers, they're looking very good, very, very close to budget. And I think we're going to come in a little bit above budget on where we budgeted for revenue overall, if you look at these. Miscellaneous operating revenue showing a negative number. Once again, this has to do with how we budget to increase our fund balance at the end of every year. We budget an amount because you have to budget to increase 5% of your negative fund balance at the end of the year. That's a state law. Sometimes we don't hit that number of what we budgeted there, but it really doesn't, we don't count on that money coming in to help operations at the same time. So it's not really an unplanned, it's not always unplanned, never unplanned actually. If you go down to expenses, for payroll, marketing and other, we're coming in a little bit under budget. If you look at those, we're projected to come in under budget for those. If you look at professional services, we've talked a little bit about that. That's related to the increased fees that we talked about earlier in the year for transaction processing with payments. And network operating expense, that 1.5 million projection, that number's been coming down, the projection the last few months. It's a little bit, it used to be over $2 million. But that's what we're talking about for maintenance and relocates, and that's what we did part of our budget revision for, was to help cover that. And then if you go down to the bottom and look at our capital projects and what's going on in capital, everything's looking pretty good there. There's the expenses look like they're a little higher because this 1.7 million for repair and replacement project that you're seeing here, that's a grant we got, but that revenue is up here in the grant revenue. So really that's a little bit showing our expenses about 1.7. I should put the revenue down here if I would have been thinking as a capital revenue, because that probably is a capital revenue. I'll make that change on the next adjustment that I do. But really our capital revenue and expense, we actually have more revenue than we do expense if you don't take that 1.7 million into account. And that's because of some of our contracts for performing construction, especially up in Bountiful. We might be charging just a little bit more for a connection than we've ended up paying this year. And that's where a lot of our revenue is coming there, if you look at it. So that's what we have. And any questions on the financial update? If not, I'll move on to the revenue charts. We're still seeing strong revenue. This is also through April. My numbers that I have here, bottom lines, Utopia, red lines, UIA, green lines combined. I'd like to point out that the blue line for Utopia is continuing to increase. And this has to do with those projects we have with places like Bountiful, Yellowstone Fiber up in Bozeman and Idaho Falls. That's the big driver of these. And we're about to see California be one of the drivers here too, is what we're hoping for our recurring revenue that when you look at this. So we're still seeing good growth there. Second chart, this is a UIA chart, not a Utopia chart, but it's still a good one to look at. If you look at the dotted lines, the top dotted lines, the total amount of monthly debt payment that we need to make for our debt that's on the books, that's been issued. The top line's the revenue we've increased since we've used those debts to increase revenue, and you see that gap over time between the highest bond payment and the revenue. It's starting to increase quickly, which is a good thing. And we're hoping that leads to higher payments to the cities in the future and better work that we have going on there. Any questions on the revenue charts? If not, that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Roger, do you have any, maybe just take a second, and Jason, you might be able to do it as well, but just give a brief update on what you think the competitive environment is, if it's changing. I'm not suggesting it is, but if it's changing, and how, and what we're doing to position ourselves to be able to remain very, very competitive in that environment.
Yeah, that ties in pretty nicely to our subscriber reports, which is basically shows us how we're doing city by city, but also collectively. It's something we're always keeping an eye on, and we've been around a while, and we've seen a lot of things come and go, and we have more options competitively today than there have ever been. So it's something that we worry about, but at the same time, our take rates are continuing to grow. There's occasional anomalies. Well, we may actually have a net loss in a city, usually just a small one where we might have seen some sort of promotion or a direct door-to-door campaign. But then those usually come back. And so statistically across all of the cities, we're still seeing very good growth. We've also implemented door-to-door campaigns to get awareness of the products out there, and those have been very effective. So we're not losing customers, but we are, in a space where we're, having to stay vigilant, I guess is probably the right word, because there are other options out there. We have other people coming into the market. We've had AT&T Fiber acquire Lumen. They'll be doing more with that acquisition in the future. So we have to, keep an eye on that. But, are we doing well? Yes, we are not only having, if you're just looked at right now, we have the highest take rates we've ever had in our history where we are available, and that continues to inch up. As you look at, is it okay if we move to the next agenda item and then I'll go right into the report? Okay, so we'll consider going into the network update. Let me share my screen here with the subscriber report. So again, if you were to dive into these take rates, you'll see that they go up. There may be, times, like here in Centerville, you might see that go down. If you go dig into the city specific though, that can be a result of two things. Sometimes it's the result of new development. So there's a whole bunch of addresses that have become valid addresses in a city. But we, it increases the denominator, but we may not have actually lost customers in that case. So that happens pretty frequently. But then in other cases, we did have some pressure in Brigham City where we did see some losses of customers. 43% is still a fantastic take rate. And to go down to 42.89 is a little bit of a hit, but that's been the result of some promotions and marketing there. That happened about a year ago as well, and then we actually had some months of growth. So we're still maintaining very good subscriber rates and take rates. And across the board, like I said, if you were to just look at this cumulatively across all of the cities, we're increasing in our take rate, improving in our competitiveness against all the other available options, including fixed wireless, satellite, other fiber providers. We're doing well, but it is a highly competitive market. There are more companies in this space than we've ever had. In the past it was, it's either us or Comcast or CenturyLink, right? Was what we faced. But now we have home internet being provided by Verizon with fixed wireless. We have T-Mobile being very aggressive with theirs. We have Starlink, things that were not available in previous years. Yet we continue to stay competitive and not just maintain customer base, but we're growing. This last year was our best year ever. I mean, we had a net growth of over 10,000 subscribers across all our cities and partnerships. And there's a lot of different buckets. We're talking UTOPIA here, but we have UTOPIA customers, we have UIA customers, and then we have partner projects, and those have a different revenue, not as much revenue, but we're not on the hook for the debt for those projects like Idaho Falls and Bozeman. But we do count them as customers because we do get revenue from those. So to your question, Alex, yes, we are doing well competitively. More and more people see us as the best option for their broadband needs. At the same time, as we provide service, if someone's picking us, it's, we hope they just love us because they love, the city's involvement and what this represents. But ultimately, we are saving those people money. Generally, it's the best priced service, and at least the best value in the sense that they get a gigabit or 2.5 gig or whatever they're picking for the best price and reliability and all the things that are important to them. So we are providing a great benefit. We're saving our businesses as well money. We're saving schools money. This year was a really good year. In fact, our best ever award from the Utah Education and Telehealth Network, which administers the purchasing in behalf of schools and universities and libraries and a lot of different education resources across the state. Those have not begun billing yet, though. So those happen every year, and they begin billing in July. So we expect to see very strong growth right out of the gate in our next fiscal year. I don't think Jason's accounted for any of that, but he's probably accounted for normal growth. But we're expecting a really good start into 2027 with the addition of a lot of school circuits. This last week, we actually hit a new milestone kind of installation with installing a 400 gigabit connection for the University of Utah. It's our second 400 gig connection, but a 400 gig connection is more than the entire capacity of the network back in the early years of Utopia. So to go from what was lots of 100 meg connections to some gigabit connections to now supporting 100 gig and even 400 gig connections for our large state partners is a big deal. We're excited that the network is of the caliber that we can attract that type of connection, but we're also excited for the revenue that comes as a result. So it's a good place to be in. Again, we're looking forward to another great year. As you can see on here, we're just over 83,000 total subscribers across all these partnerships. I've highlighted Glenn County, California is a new project that has begun construction. It's a partner project, not physically out there, but we're supporting them remotely with the Golden State Connect Authority partnership. And we'll see a bunch of those projects kicking off here shortly with customers coming on in about a year from now is approximately the timing on that. So things are going well. If you look across the board, these aggregate graphs, you have total subscribers, you have per city. We had some questions in the previous meeting about the effectiveness of door-to-door marketing campaigns, and those are very visible as you see some of these cities and you see the specific bump in subscribers. That you can basically see when one of our door-to-door campaigns was launched in a city by these bumps that happen. Orem is kind of buried here behind Idaho Falls, but that was a bump that they had there from a door-to-door campaign. And here it was Murray. Got this one in Pleasant Grove here in the light green. So that's been a very effective tool for us that we plan to continue to use. And that generally comes in the summer months. So the last winter quarter or so, you would see that revenues were a little bit flat and subscriber growth was a little flat, but that's consistent with previous winters. And we're kind of entering in the busy season for sales, which is a great season for growth. We're excited to see those months come in and the revenues associated with those. So anyways, your city specific charts are in here, have been updated. If there's any questions related to total growth and subscriber and competitiveness, pricing, any of that stuff, please feel free to reach out, whether it's specific to your city or collective. We're happy to be a resource, and feel free to share this with your city councils or any others that are interested in the progress of Utopia. Fortunately, it's good news to share, so we're happy to share that.
Thank you, Roger. Are there any questions from any of the board members? Roger, or any members of the staff?
I don't think anybody's got anything else to bring up. We're just cranking along, getting the job done.
Well, very good. Well, thank you. I apologize. I should have mentioned it right at the outset, our appreciation for the staff and all the great work you do. You're the heart and soul of the organization that keeps it running and moving forward. So thank you for what you do day in and day out. I also want to acknowledge the partnerships. Laura Lewis had to jump off, but Laura's been a tremendous partner for us in helping us to acquire debt and make wise financial decisions through the years. And we've had other bond attorneys and others that we've had long-standing relationships with that believe in the vision of the network and have been very generous with their time and expertise in that. So I wanted to acknowledge them as well. Are there any other items that seem at the end of the agenda that any member of the board would like to raise or have considered, even if it's at a later time? Okay, if not, thank you for your time today and your participation, both in terms of voting, your conscience and what you think is best for the organization, and especially want to acknowledge and express appreciation for those who have given comments, even if they are comments that are different from what's being proposed or different from another comment. I think my own opinion is out of kind of that contest, a respectful contest of ideas, the best decisions are made. So we need everybody's voice and would solicit that in the future. This organization, I'll be brief, but I've been involved in it for a long time. It's been for many years, it was a curse, I thought, and now it's clearly a blessing because of the changes. But this organization was prophesied to be dead a long time ago, and there were extensive efforts made at the state and national level to do it. But it was the tenacity and grit of the cities and elected officials and staff members that saw a vision and were committed to it. And it's remarkable today to me, having seen it from its inception to now, to what it's become. It's become something more than we ever imagined. And in my view, it's providing a tremendous blessing to communities and to the state in general. When Roger talks about the large business connections and the large academic and institutional connections, UTOPIA is very much ingrained in the telecommunications of this state, in the public infrastructure. And so I hope we remember that as well. And all of that, none of that would have happened because we were on life support in those early years on a regular basis and under attack at every quarter. But thanks to the cities and elected officials and staff, and a few stubborn people, we're through that. So my point is to say thank you for what you're doing, your cities did then and what they're doing now. And each of what you contribute is really important to the success of this organization. We want to run it right. A big priority we've talked about before is to first and foremost to run it like a business and make sure it's economically healthy. But very close second is to generate dollars that can be passed on to the cities and help them with those debts. That's a very, very important priority for this organization and will continue to be so. And we're hopeful that in the coming years, that amount that's diverted there is going to ramp up significantly. So anyway, I apologize for being so long-winded in that, but felt to give a little bit of background and then just express appreciation to each of you that are serving now and provide just a little bit of a perspective. Sometimes it's nice to hear that, but again, thank you. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move to adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bott. All in favor of the adjournment, say aye.
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 Okay. Well, we'll stand adjourned, and everybody, all the best in your families and work responsibilities, and thank you for your time today. Have a good day.